Hello everyone, this is Deepak Sharma, your instructor for Accounting 152. So I just wanted to quickly record a video for your assignment 3. I know the assignment 3 was due last week and most of you guys have submitted the reports. So instead of giving you a feedback on the individual student, I decided that I will record a video that I can share with you, and then you can see how the payroll module is supposed to be completed, and if there was any discrepancy that you have on what I have provided you with the solution, and you will see why those discrepancies existed. So assignment 3 was available on your blackboard. So similar to what you see on my screen, you will have your final exam listed in the same place as well. So assignment 3 was listed at the right at the bottom here. So you click on this part and then there is your instruction. So I recommend for you final exam, make sure you have access to the printer that you can print the instructions. So here's your instructions for your assignment number 3. So the instructions were download the database file. So I will do is I will download the database file, which is right here. So I click on that and it will save it on my drive in a zipped folder. And then I say go to this, go to quiz and test it, go to assignment, locate, download it, locate the download file, and right click to unzip the folder. So I saved it right here. I'm gonna say show me the folder, and I go right here. This is the class actual exercise 7.2. So I'm going to say extract it here, or you can do is I always like to keep my things very organized, so I will cut this one and I'll go to my Cunning 152 folder and I will paste it here, and here what I'm going to do is I'm going to unzip it and I'll say extract here, unzip to here. And depending on your computer you may see it differently, but because I have the WinZip software installed, so it's always ask me to unzip it using that software. I'm sure you guys know this, you have been doing this for a long time now. So once it's extract, what you will see is you see this class file comes up here, and now if you look at the instructions, open the folder using the software. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to open Sage. I know I'm doing the tutorial for this. This is something that you guys have been doing it for a long time. I'm sure you guys will have your own way of doing it, but my instructions are pretty clear, so step by step tells you what to do. So here I'm opening up the file using the Sage 50, select an existing company, press OK, and then I'm going to go into my folder, which is C drive, this, and then class, and then open that. So now the first thing it's going to ask you is you're confirming your session date. So your session date for this company. So now if you look at the instructions, your transactions are coming from the exercise 7.2 from chapter 7. So on that your session date is supposed to be January 1st, 2025. Press OK. And now in part B, so in part A what I'm saying is not any reports without the name must be marked 0. So that means your company file should have your name on it. Okay, so very first thing that you're going to do is once you are on your company file, doesn't matter if I don't tell you to do it or not, that's something that's important for you guys to know, is that your company name should end or start with your name on it. Without that, I don't know whose file is that, and then I will not mark it. Okay, so that's the first thing that you're going to do. Now for the instructions for assignment 3, you're supposed to go to your test book on page 437. So I am on my page 437 on this, on the test book. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to read the transactions from there, and then once we complete part B, then we'll come to part C. So now in part B, you given a company's background information. This company is doing the payroll on weekly and bi-weekly basis, and they have medical, pension, union dues, and safety shoes as the deductions. And now the most important thing that I told you guys in the lectures as well, when you have working on the payroll module, always advance your session date as you're moving from one transaction to another. So in this chapter, your session date, the first transaction that you have is January 2nd. So on January 2nd, received a memo for salary reversal that the December 31st payroll accrual was 1,500 for all employees. The total accrual for the wages was accrued in the salary expenses. So the total of $1,500 was all accrued to salary expense. So now what you're being asked to do is reverse the accrual. So first I'm going to do is I'm going to change the session date to January the 2nd. Now to record the reversal, what I need to do is has to be done into the company module as a journal entry. So I'm going to go into journal entry and then select the date, and source will be memo salary reversal, and here in the comment I can say reversal of December 31st accrual. And then remember the entry for accrual was debit salary expenses, credit accrued salary payable. Now you're doing the reversal, so now all you have to do is debit the salaries payable, and I have to find that account is accrued salary, accrued payroll payable, which is $1,500, and then credit the salary expenses. And I know there was a student asked me a question saying, how do I know whether it's going to be salary or commission? That will be answered in the transaction. So I'll tell you whether the full amount was a salary. If there was a breakdown between salary and commission, you will have to select the accounts accordingly. If it was salary and a commission expense, then I'll tell you how much is salary expense, how much is a commission expense. Then instead of crediting one account, you will credit the two accounts. So now once you're happy with that, you click post. That's your entry number 1. So now you're moving into January 3rd. So moving into January 3rd, very first thing that you're going to do is advance your session date to January 3rd. So here's your January 3rd. Press OK. And what happened on the January 3rd? Process a payroll check run for all employees. And note, your actual name, first name, worked 40 hours plus 4 hours overtime, and Valeria worked 40 hours and earned $450 in commission. So now in this payroll, what's happening is we're processing all the employees, and also I forgot to do that before that. Before we start the transactions, you're supposed to change the employee name. The employee name with your name has to be changed by replacing it with your name. So here's a last name comma first name. So last name comma first name, save and close. Now we're going to record the payroll transaction. So remember I told you there's two ways you process the payroll: paycheck and payroll check run. This is when it's a one employee, this is when you have a multiple employee. So you click on payroll check run, and on January 3rd we're doing it for all employees. Okay, so we're going to leave it as all, and see all the employees are selected, and you're gonna have to find the information. So your name worked 40 hours plus overtime, so you're gonna click on your name, and then he worked on 40 hours regular, and the overtime was 4 hours, so you change that overtime to 4 hours. And then Valreed Code worked, so Valreed Code, we're gonna click on his employee. So we clicked on his employee information, and now see this salary, the wages are not up because this person is not on the wages, so this person gets a commission. So he worked 40 hours and earned the commission of $450. Okay, so it's important that you put that information together, and there's no changes. So if I don't mention anything else, assume that everything else remains same. So we know there's 2 more employees, their standard salary, and there's no changes on those ones. Okay, now if you wanted to review the journal entries, you can click on report, display the payroll journal entry, and it will show you 4 entries there. Okay, each employee payroll will have individual and journal entry recorded with that. Okay, when I'm checking this, I'm not checking every single account. What I'm checking is your net pay. If your net pay, which is the bank account right here, if this is correct, most likely entry is correct, because the EI, CPP, WSIB, everything is done calculated automatically. Okay, so So this is what it is. Your net pay for your name 635, Valeria is 325, Yan is 1561, Eleanor is 2047. Okay, and once you're happy with that, you're gonna click post, and it's always going to give you this warning. So simply ignore it and press yes. So what it's telling you is uh, that your payroll calculator is out of date, which is okay. We know that, and all of us supposed to use the same edition of the software, because if we use different, if for example, if I work on the same file in 2019 or 2020 version of the software, the answers will be different because the tax table will be different for that as well. So now we're done with January 3rd. Now we're jumping into January 6th. So January 6th, Valeria called phone this morning, requested a 1 week off for a personal reason, and asked for her vacation pay. At least the total vacation pay owing as of January 31st did not deduct for medical plans or union dues. So whenever you're doing a vacation pay, you most likely try to ignore the deductions that you have, because those are mostly are associated with your regular payroll. So this employee, because you're paying for 1 week, remember what I told you is whenever you're paying for to have a tax deducted appropriately, you want to change the payroll cycles accordingly. So this person is going on vacation for 1 week and wanted to pay for 1 week. So now if we go into income, he's set up on a weekly basis, which is perfect. That's what we want, because this person is going on vacation, and now we don't have to change this to 26 because this is for 1 week. Okay, so I just double checked it. So this is code. Yeah, that is the one. And now what we have to do is we have to pay him. So we click on, now it's only one employee. First I have to change the session date. It's transaction in January 6. Change the session date to January 6. Now we're going to payroll pay check run. I will select this employee. It's right here. Now this is going to show him that this is his salary or vacation. Though now we're not paying him anything. All we're paying is a vacation pay. So we click on a vacation, and this tells you this person has a vacation pay of $480 before and $18 what he earned this year. The total he has earned is $498 so far. And what we are asked to do is pay the full vacation pay. So what we do is we put the 40 hours, and we're going to put the full amount, which is $498. Okay, so you put the full amount, and now if you wanted to double check, now what did I tell you about the deductions? We're going to zero that out. So deductions automatically pops up. So the union dues are going to be zeroed, the medicals are going to be zeroed as well. Now the pension is not changing because the pension is based on the pay, and it's a percentage based on whatever the earnings are. So this is automatically calculated based on the percentage that we set up in the employee profile. So that cannot be changed. And now what we did the unions zero, medical dues zero, and there was no safety issues for this employee. Now if you want to check the journal entry, you can check the journal entry. Now remember, what are we paying this employee for? We're paying for vacation. Now you see there's no wages because there's no actual hours that we're paying. He is just taking a vacation that was payable to him. So now if you look at it, the entry is debit to vacation payable instead of wages expense. Okay, and that's the amount, and then everything else is automatically calculated by the system, and if you have not changed anything else, the number will be accurate automatically. Okay, so the key thing that you remember is I asked you to remove the deduction, so that is not showing up here, and the pay is the vacation pay, so it's showing up only the vacation. So that's done. So we are comfortable recording that transaction, and you click post. Okay, so moving into the next transaction we have is on January the 10th. So January the 10th, non-salaried payroll for the week ending January 3rd is recorded as follow. Okay, so now we only paying the weekly payroll. So we can click on this, and then we can click on a payroll check run. And over here, all period, we're going to change it to 52. So that means we're only paying some people who are on a weekly payroll, which is 52. Nobody's getting selected, but because we have to change the date, January 10th. That's why what I'm telling you is the dates are very crucial for this, because the system will recognize the check date based on the session date. So here we're going to a payroll check run, and now we're going to select that we are paying for 52 weeks. Now there's only one employee showing up, which is Deepak, which is your first name, last name. And now you need the information. Now Valeria was also on the weekly payroll, and we want to make sure why that other employee is not showing up, because remember this person was on a vacation. It is 52. Okay, and it is active, so I don't know why it's not showing up. Anyways, if the employee profile is not showing up and you wanted to pay him, all you have to do is just check mark. Okay, do a check mark right here. But in this one we are only paying one employee, which is your last name. So you click on that employee profile and select the information, say 40 regular and 2 overtime, and nothing else is given, so therefore you don't have to do anything else. Vacation automatically get calculated, deductions are automatically coming up, taxes are automatically calculated as well. Now all we have to do is display the journal entry. You want to make sure there's only one employee profile, one entry is showing up, and the net pay is $594 for your name. Okay, so good with that. Now what we're going to do is we're going to click post. Okay, that is recorded. Now we can close that entry. Now on January 13, so therefore we're going to change the session date to January 13. Press OK. Your last name stopped by the payroll office today, and it was confirmed that there was an error with January 10 paycheck. In addition to 40 regular hours, first name should have been paid 5 overtime hours. They returned the payroll check to the office, prepared the necessary reversing and correcting entry, issue replacement check for the correct amount to your last name. So now the error had happened, and remember what I told you, when it comes to the payroll, you wanted to correct the entries. You don't want to adjust the existing paycheck. You want to get the actual check back, void it, and then reissue it with the correct hours. So the process that we learned in this test book, and what I also recommend for you guys to follow, is reverse the original check. So we're gonna find that employee check, so which is January 10, which is right here 633. And now instead of adjusting it, what we're going to do is we're gonna reverse it. So we reverse it. Are you sure you want to reverse this check? We're gonna say yes. Now the transaction has been reversed. You close that. The next step that you're going to do is run the payroll. So now what you're going to do is you're going to run the payroll for the same employee, your name, and then we can put the period ending January 10. The check date will remain as it is. The only difference that now what we're going to do is we're going to change the actual hours, which is 40 regular and 5 overtime. Everything else remains same. And you wanted to check the journal entry, you can check the journal entry, and the journal entry should look like you're getting a pay of $832 and $150 bonus, I mean the overtime, and the net pay is $654. Okay, so 654 is the net pay, and are you happy with that? And now what you're going to do is close it. Sure you want to do it? Yes. And journal entry is done. Okay, that's how you do the adjustment of a pay that was already paid. So now January 13, Valeria Court returned to work today. She was approved for a staff loan of $600 as her furnace motor need repair. Issued the next check. So now you're not paying an employee. What you're doing is you advancing a loan. Okay. So now anything that you're doing with the employee, you have to do it in the employee and payroll module. So in this module, what you're going to do is now it's a one employee only. So we can go into a paid check and select the employee. So the employee is Valeria, and now look at this, there is no earning that is there. What this is guy is going to get paid is the loan. So here we have a tab there for a loan. Now you put the $600 as a loan, saying we are advancing this $600 to this particular employee. And now what happened with the vacation? There is no vacation, there is no deduction, so we're gonna have to remove the deduction here. Okay, because remember what I told you about the deduction is only applicable when you're doing a regular payroll. So we're gonna remove all the deductions here, and there's no taxes because this is not a pay, this is a loan which have to be paid back. Now you can check the journal entry, and journal entry will be a very simple entry, which is debit to the receivable because this is a loan receivable, and credit to your bank account. Okay, you don't dictate this account because this is the account that was linked when you set up the payroll. So now I want to make sure the dates are correct. So January 13 and click post. Done. So there is your entry to give a loan to an employee. Now we're moving into January 16, so we can change the session date to January 17. Now what happened on January 17? Process a payroll check run for all the employee pay period. Warrior Code worked 40 hours this week and earned $575 in commission, and your first name worked 40 hours plus an overtime. So Lyria is back, and then want to make sure this is back on 52 pay period. Okay, so the employee profile is active. I don't know why this was not showing up. It should show up automatically. So let's see when we pay this employee, it will select the profile. So we change the session date to January 17. So now we're going to a payroll check run now because we're paying more than one employee. Okay, it's a all period. And I say all employees. Okay, I don't know why it says not yet paid in the check date. Okay, so I say all employees. So now it's selected all the employees. And for your name, the hours are 40 and 1 hour overtime. And Valeria is paid a commission for 40 hours and a commission of $575. Okay, and I didn't tell you anything else, so therefore you assume everything else remain as it is. Now what you have to do is you have to review the journal entry, and you expect there will be 4 entries here. So here is your name. Valeria is, so your name is 572 net pay. Valeria is $410 net pay. Ann is 1,561 net pay, and Eleanor is 2,047.76, $92 of a net pay. Okay. See, the good thing about the salary employees, their pay is never going to change. It's a fixed amount. The only amount that's going to change is the employees who are working on an hourly basis. So once we finish with that, now what we do is we click post. Post, and it all gives you that warning. You press OK, and everything goes forward. Okay. So now we recorded the payroll on January the 17th. So now we're going on to January 21st. So on January 21st, so first thing we're going to do is change the session date to January 21st. And now on this date, what's happening is issue a next check to a receiver journal for EI, CPP, and income tax for balance owing at January 1st, 2025. So if you want, you can double check how much amount you have to pay to the CRA on the particular day. So we need to pay receiver journal the CPP, EI, and income tax. So if you look at the trial balance, or you can look at the balance sheet, either or does the same thing. But you have to make sure you select the date as January 1st because you want to see it on that particular date when is it due. So if I look on January 1st, I look at the liability account, I see EI payable of 480, CPP payable of 460, income tax payable of $2,400. So now what's going to happen is you need to owe them $3,340. The good thing about using a payroll system is system will automatically keep track of what needs to be paid out. So to pay your payroll taxes, you have to click on pay remittance. And here when you pay remittance, you have to select who you're remitting to. So for a payroll taxes, it's the receiver journal. And you have to select the date saying remittance ending period, which is January 1st. So usually happens it's always the end of the last month. Okay. Now because we are using the payroll system and we have the historical information, I can't pull up the December 31st information. But since we didn't record any transaction on January 1st, it doesn't matter whether you pull the information on December 31st or January 1, it will give you the same number. So I changed the date to January 1st. Remember it was January 17 before, the numbers were different because this was what was due to CRA on January 17. But we are making a payment only for the period ending January 1st. Now this number was exactly the same number that we saw on the balance sheet account. So now system automatically pops up the number. All you have to do is make sure the same number, you just click on the payment amount and it will automatically select the amount that's sitting in the amount owing. Okay, and if you are making any different amount, you just change the amount to whatever it is. Okay, but if you're doing things properly, it will be exact the same amount that you will be reporting it. Under the reference, you can put in the reference number. Say this is December 2024, and you can put a comment filing the payroll remittance for December 2024, and if you have a CRA confirmation number that you have reported it, you can put that under the reference or as a comment. And now you can check the journal entry, and there's always a two entry that's going to happen. One is moving this amount into accrued liabilities on January 1st and then making actual payment on January the 21st. And you click post and the entry has been recorded. Okay, so now going into the last transaction we have on January the 24th. So we're going to change the session date to January 24. Press OK. And Valeria worked 40 hours this week and earned a commission of $500. And your last name worked 40 hours, no overtime. So we are making a payroll check run again. This time we're paying it for 52 weeks. I'm going to say, oh, not all employees will get paid. So it shows up, or it picks up only the 2 employees that you want to pay. So your name 40, no overtime. Valeria is 40 hours and a commission of $500. Okay, no other changes, so therefore no need to do anything else. Now all I have to do is go into the report, review the journal entry. Okay, there are 2 entries here and we're happy with that. Okay, well, let's quickly check the net pay for both the entries. So your name net pay is 551. Valeria net pay is 357. So $520. Okay, so the net pay for this supply is $357. Okay, so one thing that we didn't do, even if that's supposed to be done on January 17 as well. When we give him a loan, the company had a policy that the loan has to be repaid back by $20 per pay. Okay, which we didn't do it on January 17. So if so on January 17 amounts was amount would have been changed. So I will tell you how to change that, but now this is something that's important for you guys to know. Is the loan has to be repaid back of $20 per pay. So you have to reduce the loan by $20 minus. Okay, now you can check the journal entry and look at it. The net pay here for this employee has been changed from 357 to 337. Okay, this should have been done on January 17 payroll as well, that you should put minus 20 on the loan amount. So now we are happy with that. You click post and click yes and record the transaction. Okay, so now all the entries are recorded. I know I made a mistake on the payroll entry on January the 17 where the Valeria is supposed to pay the deductions and have reduced that by $20. So now I'm gonna correct it, but you guys don't need to correct it if you have done it right. So now for me, what I need to do is to correct that. I had to find that particular pay, which was January the 17th, $410. So I select that. Now I can use a shortcut of clicking on adjust icon and change the amount and put this minus 20 here. But I'm not going to take the shortcut. Remember what I told you, there is never a shortcut in the payroll. You have to get the check back from the employee and adjust it. So what I'm going to do is to adjust my payroll, I'm going to reverse this, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to record the same payroll for that employee, and I have to make sure I select the date, which was the dates on that, so which is January the 17th, and the period ending was 17 as well, and the beginning was 11. Okay, and then here we'll have to use the same amount. So he worked 40 hours and earned a commission of $575, and this one I'll put minus 20 here. Now I check the entry here, and that amount, see, the previously was showing up as a $410, now it's showing up as $390, and that is the correct amount. Okay, now I click post. Okay, so this was an unnecessary step that I have to do because there was an error in the entry. And now that could happen in the exam as well. So if you notice something that you made a mistake, there is never too late to adjust it. So all you have to do is just go back and reverse the entry that you have made an error with, and then correct it. I will not deduct any mark as long as it's done properly. Okay, now we finally completed all the transactions. And in this assignment, I was not asking you to give me all the reports. What I was asking you to do is export the required report, which is the employee detail for the month of January, and save it as R1 your name. So now what I have to do is I have to go into the payroll, click on employee, and here you're gonna have to select detail and make sure all the employees are selected. You see this all in a blue color because they're all selected. Sometimes if I click on this, there's only one employee selected. So you're going to click on select all to make sure all of them are selected. And the date range you want to select from the beginning of the month till the end of the month. So we recorded till January 24th, so January 24th is the last date. And you want to show all the corrections because I wanted to see it. If you made a mistake, that's fine, but I wanted to see it. So therefore you have to make sure you select show corrections, and make sure you select this show only income deductions taxes that are currently in use. So it's not going to show everything, it's only going to show what has been deducted from each employee. And you press OK, and there is your employee detail for all the paychecks that was paid out to the individual employees. So A your name has all these paychecks with the corrections. See, this was incorrect, then we reversed it, then we issued the new check, then this was a paid on January 17 and 24th. Valeria was getting all this pay, and you see this one right here when I was reversing the original one, so that's also showing up right here. Okay, this was original, this was reversed, and this was the correct amount. Okay, then Ian was the same two payrolls, and Eleanor was the same two pays on a bi-weekly basis. Okay, so when I was checking your assignment, I was checking simply the net pay for each employee profile. If you messed up one or two transactions, I was deducting 5 marks for each employee profile because you tried to attempt to do everything and you made a few mistakes. That's fine, I'll still give you a part mark. Now for your final exam, the marking will be done on a transaction basis. So it's not on an employee basis, it's going to be based on the transaction basis. So you want to make sure every transaction you're recording it correctly. So now you have this report, you want to export this report into a PDF. So you click on this export icon right here, and as I suggested to you, that create a separate folder. So even though I tell you in your instructions you can have your own process, so I always recommend to create a separate folder for your reports. So here this is A3 reports, assignment 3 reports. Okay, so you go inside. Now the good thing is I'm only asking you one report, so you don't have to worry about naming it that way. So you say R1 and then employee, detail. And for your final exam, I will be giving you exact name that I wanted to use for each report. So you wanted to make sure they use the same code, same name that I'm mentioning here. So say here I'm saying R1 your name employee detail. So you can copy this or you can just type in the same way. The only thing you're going to change is replace your last name with your actual last name. So here this is this. Okay, and make sure this is PDF. And I told you guys in the assignment as well, final exam, if you give me an Excel file, it will not be marked at all. It has to be a PDF form, and you click save, and I can see it because it will have a stamp on when the file was exported. See here, generated on December 13. So when you are doing it, it will have the date exactly when you actually exported it. Okay, even I can go into your zip file, I can know the exact time when you were on this report and know the time as well. So make sure you give me your reports and the backup file, so I will have all the detail for your file. So once that is done, you're moving into part D to create a backup. I'm sure you guys have mastered this by now. To create a backup, you have to go into file and backup right here, and then it's going to ask you the location. So I recommend again that report folder that you created, or you can name it as report and backup, and save the backup in the same place as well, so you have you don't have a hard time finding it. So here you're going to go on PC, and then right here I will go into the report folder, and then the name also what I told you, and you can use the description that I'm referring to. So it's A3 class, so say A3, the company name is class. Okay, the location already selected, don't worry about the comment, it will by default shows up the backup of number 1 for this particular company. You press OK, and that backup is there. Now finally, once all of these things are done, now you move into the final stage of your assignment. And it's the same process that you guys will be using for your final exam. Well, nothing different. All you have to do is the transactions that you will see in your final exam, that will be a little bit more complicated than you have seen in your assignment. So now going back to your instructions, part E is upload the files on a Blackboard. So now your files, you have exported all the reports that you needed, you have the backup, you don't need the Sage file anymore. So you can close the file. You don't have to close it, but I always recommend closing it, so that means you're done with the work. Now all you have to do is go back to your Blackboard, and you don't have to be logged in while you're doing this, but if you're logged in, that's fine. So now you can log back into your Blackboard again, come into the particular places, quiz and test. So now this is assignment 3. You come into assignment 3, you have this little drop box right here, and you click on this drop box and click on browse the local files and locate the file. Say 3 reports, locate the file, press the control key, select all the files that you want to submit, click open. It's going to show up that these are the files that are being attached. You want to put a comment, you can put a comment, you don't need to, and click submit. And once you click submit, then it gives you a little confirmation that the file has been submitted and you're good to go. Okay, see this due date, this assignment was due on December 11. So for your final exam, it's going to have exact same thing as well. So if you submitting it later than that, you will not be getting marked, because everything has to be submitted within the before the due date. So once you finish, you click submit, and then that's when you finish your assignment or your exam. Okay, so now this is something that I'll be posting it. So if you guys have any question in regards to comparing your assignment with the answer sheet, let me know. I'll be more than happy to answer it to you, and I'll be available through a course message. Again, I know so nobody posted on anything on a discussion, but if you wanted to post your question on the discussion board, you guys are most welcome to use that feature as well. Okay, all right, everybody, good luck and be safe. Bye bye.